Anokhi, can you explain to me what is extended reality?
Extended reality is basically using digital tools or technologies to kind of extend your physical reality. So, for example, augmented reality, you use a device where you kind of point it towards a physical reality using, for example, your camera.
Camera,
And with the additional digital layer, you can add more onto the space. So it becomes an extension of your physical reality.
Sure.
Similarly, with virtual reality, you can kind of create a whole different environment or a world
Yeah.
where you can put the headset on and kind of immerse yourself in the world and have an immersive experience, which again is a different kind of a experience, another kind of reality, which is why it comes under the umbrella of extended reality.
You went to art school?
I have my base in architecture, and then I went for a master's, which was called a Masters of Arts in Architecture.
A Masters of Arts in Architecture.
I did that from Germany.
Sounds like that. Because Pune University is not offering any course like this.
So basically, at the Stadel which is an art school in Frankfurt, Germany,
Yeah.
and they have an architecture department, which allows you to do like a Masters of Arts in Architecture.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of learned a little bit about art.
Yeah.
But obviously, my route is not the authentic way of going to an art school.
What is the authentic way? You
I
have
don't know.
you have issues with people from art school because
No, I don't have issues with people from art school. It's just, if you talk to someone who's an architect and you talk to someone who's an engineer,
Yeah.
construction engineer, there's obviously maybe there are some topics which are overlapping, but
Yes.
they've approached it in a different way.
Okay.
So I feel the same similar happens with me and another artist.
Sure.
They know a lot more artists, I would say, than I do,
Yeah.
and a lot more mediums, whereas I am interested and restricted to the kind of things I am excited about,
Which is
which is virtual space, which is where the architecture comes in place. And also, I wanted to tell you that VR and AR, which is virtual reality and augmented reality, is under the umbrella of extended reality. It's
I have
called.
a question.
Yes.
For question 1.
Question 1. Go for it.
Is AR and VR, do you consider these things as real? You know what is away from keyboard and IRL in real life? Is AR and VR a facet of reality? How would you define reality?
I mean, I would ask you that. How would you define reality? Is it, what are your parameters that,
It needs to have an element, temporal element,
okay?
time. It
Yeah.
needs to have physical space, and it needs to have consciousness.
Yeah, then I would say it's real. So if
But
we go
is
by your
physical
definition,
is physical space there in the augmented? I mean,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about
Okay,
it a
one
little
love.
bit.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about that a little bit, like the aspect of space in these realities.
Yeah.
So basically, extended realities is something which means that it kind of extends your physical reality.
Yeah.
And augmented reality and virtual reality are two different ways you can approach that. Augmented reality uses a screen-based device, which could be your phone, your iPad, maybe like a glass, something like that, which what it does is adds a layer to the physical layer that
Yeah.
you see,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which is why the project here is an augmented reality. This additional of this layer that you add, it could be anything that you could control, and it could have all those physics elements that reality has, like depth, shadow, light, all of those things.
It must be a designer's playground.
Yeah, of course, it's beautiful because
Yeah.
you can take something that's existing and
Yeah.
add stuff over it, right?
It allows you to also introduce elements that are not real.
Exactly, but you can position it according to the depth, according to the distance, all of these things, right? So the space,
It's amazing.
space gets kind of activated.
You know, psychologically, there was a term for running away from reality, like it's called escapism.
Yeah,
And
that's a lot played in video games.
yeah, and then I'm like just curious: is this unhealthy? I want to touch upon that too, because escapism as a concept is not a healthy term. It's a term that takes you away from reality. So this having this conversation with you means a lot to me, because kind of I become the orthodox, classical, real definer, and you
Yeah.
become. And I'm curious. Can you
Yeah.
tell me why is it?
I'm going to come at it
Important
from
to
a
you.
different lens.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about augmented reality, which has the essence of physicality of the existing world in it, right? Now let's talk about virtual reality. So virtual reality is something where you put your headset on, correct? And you basically disappear into a whole
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
world. And this basically allows you where there is no elements of physical reality coming into it. You can control everything. You can make it rain, you can make it snow, you can be upside down, you could walk on a wall, all of that, right? So there are no physics involvement in this virtual reality.
I'm just like, that's freaking me out, because you might have a child next to you, you might have your partner next to you, you might have an aging parent next to you, who in the real world, who might you might need to who might want your eardrums,
Yeah.
who might want to listen to what you're kind of saying, or you need to pay attention to some things.
Yeah.
This is this only for kids?
No,
I know that it's no. I know you're going to say no, but is it?
it's
is
not
it-
noise cancelling. It's not teleporting you to this
Sure,
virtual
sure,
space,
sure.
right? Like if there's a wall in front of you and you wear the VR and walk ahead,
I'm
you
born
are
in-
going to bump into the wall.
I'm born in 1983, by the way. For my first 20
That's
years,
not too long.
for the first 20 years, I had none of this, and for the next 20 years, I have only this, and I can see where this is going. So
Anyway,
people know the basic definitions of AR and VR. I
Yeah.
want to ask you as a creator. I want to ask you, why is it important to you?
so I'm going to come back
Sorry. Yeah.
to your answer of escapism, right? The terminology escapism was actually originated when you started playing video games. It came from the gaming industry, right? And I think that is one of the industries I look at in a lot, because it actually has the creation of these virtual worlds, but you can enable it using your PlayStation or your screen or your Nintendo, all of that.
Yeah.
If you actually look at escapism as an idea,
Yeah.
it allows you to kind of immerse in this world that has been created. Same thing is possible in virtual reality. To answer your question with whether this is good or bad, I would say anything overdone
It's bad.
is good or bad.
Yeah.
But there has been, if you look at the video game industry, it's one of the most booming entertainment industries right now.
So is Kim Kardashian. That's
Yeah.
not what I'm. Just because it's booming.
No, what I'm trying to say is video games also have a lot of health benefits.
Oh,
The
now we're talking
idea
about the
of-
health benefits of
The
playing
idea
video games.
of mental health
This is new. Yeah.
is very much enabled through virtual spaces.
Give me one example.
I mean, just at my studio IOVR in the last 1 year, we've created 2 VR experiences, which is catered on wellness, the idea of wellness.
Wow. You want to explain
Where-
this project?
Yeah, so we had done one for Kosa. Kosa is this brand in Pune that had it's an aesthetic
It's an
brand,
aesthetic,
but
yeah.
also promotes wellness.
Pooja's brand. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had done a wellness market. I can show you some photos later where we had kind of created this experience, and we called it the VR bath. So we set up a physical bathtub where you sit inside and you put on the VR headset, and this experience plays for about 5 minutes. And we have got all the feedback forms, and it's guaranteed that 99.9%, one person was like, oh, there was a little bit of glitch.
Yeah.
Experience the idea of wellness.
Nice.
So you're basically putting on the headset
I'd like that. Yeah.
and teleporting through this experience.
Yeah.
And you feel well after about 5 minutes, right? So what I'm trying to say, this whole idea of escapism holds a lot of control over your thoughts and emotions,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
you can design it in a way that it provides to be well for you. Which is why a lot of video games also nowadays have games which are not necessarily about violence, or there's something called as world exploring. right? Where you can just go exploring
Yeah.
the world. There's no agenda to the game.
Yeah.
There's
It's
this,
basically like follow the rabbit.
yeah. So there's this one of my favorite games that I always tell people to play or try is this game called Everything. It's by this artist called David O'Reilly.
Everything. I'll check it
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Um,
On iOS, everywhere.
It's on. You can play it on the Mac. You can play it on the
PC.
PC, wherever. And basically, it's a exploration of the world, right? So how it starts is, I think you start as a deer. Like you go into a forest, you start as a deer. When you see a rabbit, you can become a rabbit.
You can.
You see a turtle, you can become a turtle. You see a cockroach, you can become a cockroach. You can go from like the largest animal to the
and the
smallest.
perspective shifts.
Yes, perspective shifts.
Oh wow!
You can see the grass so big. You can actually become like the algae,
I'll definitely try this. Yeah.
amoeba, small kind of thing. It can take you to a city and you can become a street lamp.
That's amazing.
You can become friends with the other street lamps.
So every object has its perspective. It's looking.
Yeah. You can become a planet. It goes from all different scales.
Wow, just switching your perspectives.
Correct, right? And there's no agenda to this. It's just an experience.
Yes.
But you are escaping into the world and you are having a change of perspective through this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is what I mean by laws of physics don't apply.
Sure.
Because you can change your scale.
Yes.
You can change your perspective.
Yeah.
You would not be able to do this in real life, right?
That's true.
So that's what I mean by these extended realities that allow you to experience new things.
Sure. AR and VR is it right to say it's just a tool within the gaming industry?
Correct.
But you can use it for many more
not within
things.
the gaming industry, because these are like new technologies.
There can be applications also.
Yeah.
I've seen doctors use.
Exactly. So
yeah.
they're used in different industries. I'm just giving the example of a gaming industry so that it's more entertainment based and people can try it.